And we are back in the building, back with some more boxing. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and all that good stuff. Now, guys, we're talking once again about Terrence Bud Crawford, the newly crowned undisputed 147-pound undisputed champion, who just had the biggest fight of his career a couple of weeks ago with Errol the True Spence Jr. And you guys know since the fight, he's been making a lot of rounds, doing a lot of different, talking to the press more than he normally does. So it's refreshing to see Bud Crawford getting out there, getting his face out there and answering the questions for the people. Now, this past weekend, they threw a parade for him in his hometown of Omaha, Nebraska. And just to see how many people came out to support Crawford, I was in awe of that. I did watch the parade. I didn't make any videos about it, but I just like the fact that, he's getting his accolades now. Imagine being Terrence Bud Crawford and feeling like you've been marginalized for so long, even though, you've got this superb record, you're undefeated, unblemished record, and you've, done phenomenal things in the sport. And people are saying that you basically haven't done anything, and then to win this huge super fight, and now people recognize the greatness coming from Terrence Bud Crawford, and I think it's just a good thing to see, and I want to take my hat off to him and his entire team. Now, Terrence Bud Crawford was on Sway's, I think it was Sway's Universe, doing an interview on Sway's Universe, and Sway asked him about, when did he know that he was going to dominate this fight with Errol Spence Jr. And the thing that surprised me was that Terrence Bud Crawford said that he knew in the first round that he was going to dominate that fight. That kind of took me aback. And he said that he knew Errol hadn't faced a southpaw in a while. And I think he said that he only faced like 2 in his career. And he talked about, how hard he trained for this fight and how he was prepared physically, spiritually, and mentally for this fight. And in his mind, he knew that he had trained harder than Errol for this fight, and that if the fight came out, if it went into a dog fight, that he was going to come out on top. So that's just a testament to his mindset going into this fight. Now, he talked about how it was the hardest training camp that he'd ever had. He said that he had never had a pre-training camp, which he did for this fight. He had the pre-training camp, and then he had a training camp for this fight. And he talked about how hard it was to make 147. And like I said, he knew that Errol Spence Jr. wasn't just an ordinary fighter. He knew he was going into the lion's den with a guy that was different. He was very different. You guys know he was a 3-belt champion. That last one, that WBO belt that Crawford had, was the last piece of the puzzle. So he knew what he was going up against. And the smarter fighter prevailed, in my opinion. The guy with the higher boxing IQ prevailed. Once he took away Errol Spence Jr.'s best attribute, which was his jab, the fight was pretty much over. So, like I said, hats off to Terrence Bud Crawford for being a phenomenal athlete as well as a phenomenal thinker in the ring. He's like the Brainiac of boxing. If you guys know Brainiac from the Superman comics, he's the Brainiac of boxing. But anyway, another thing I wanted to talk about, shout out to Hardcore Boxing News. They did an interview with Steven Espinosa, and Steven Espinosa was being asked about the rematch between Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Bud Crawford. And he said that, Errol took, a lot of punishment in the fight, and he was kind of getting at, preferring him not to face Terrence Bud Crawford in December. That's the talk, that the fight will probably be in December. He would prefer it being early next year, or possibly even late next year. And I agree with that. I don't think December would be the right time for Errol to go back into a fight with Terrence Bud Crawford. Not only because of the punishment that he took in the fight, but because of, a lot of things need to be worked on, I think, going into a fight with a guy like Terrence Bud Crawford, who has this extremely high boxing IQ. That plus the athleticism, plus the power, it's just a lot of things that Terrence Bud Crawford brings to the table. And you're going to need some time to prepare for a fighter of his ilk. And here's the thing, Terrence Bud Crawford. I think if Terrence Bud Crawford doesn't stay at 147 in his next fight, I think his next fight should be Tim Tszyu. Because we know Tim Tszyu is going to be the newly crowned WBO, the WBO 154-pound champion. We know that's coming because Jermell Charlo is going to be stripped of the title come fight time with Canelo Alvarez. I think that Errol Spence Jr. should entertain a fight with Keith one-time Thurman. And the reason I think that is because Keith Thurman is a mover and a thinker just in the same ilk as Terrence Bud Crawford. Now, I don't think he's as good as Crawford, but I think, you know, he's a slick fighter. And the thing is, he hasn't been in the ring for some time. And even though Errol's not known to take tune-ups, I think this would be the perfect opportunity for him to get ready for a rematch with Terrence Bud Crawford. You know, all the other stuff, you can set it aside, you know, the bad blood stuff and not wanting to give him an opportunity. You have to put that aside and do what's best for your career. And I think that fight would get him prepared a lot more for Terrence Bud Crawford instead of just going straight back into a fight with Crawford, because you're going to have a brilliant game plan to beat the guy. He's just that damn good. But anyway, guys, that's all I wanted to talk about. That's what I think. I think Terrence Bud Crawford should fight Tim Tszyu next, possibly get that WBO. Then when Jermell comes back down from fighting Canelo, fight Jermell Charlo for undisputed at 154 pounds. Put yourself in a bracket of your own when it comes to, you know, the accomplishments in the sport of boxing. Right now, he shares it with Clarissa Shields, and it's possible that he could also be sharing it with Jermell Charlo if Jermell Charlo is successful in defeating Canelo Alvarez. But anyway, you guys let me know what you think about what Terrence Bud Crawford had to say. Who do you think he should fight next? Do you think he should stay at 147? Do you think he should go to 154? You guys let me know how you feel about that in the comment section. It's the CMB. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. And I'm out. Peace.